The story begins early in the morning on May 26, 2013. On the tugboat Jask 4, the crew was carrying out their task of stabilizing an oil tanker near a Chevron drilling platform in the Gulf of Guinea in the Atlantic Ocean, about 32 kilometers off the coast of Nigeria. The crew consisted of 12 people, including 11 sailors and a Nigerian cook named Harrison Okeen, who always had to wake up early to prepare breakfast for everyone. At around 5 a.m., the crew was fast asleep in their locked rooms, slowly sinking toward a certain death. Because pirates often operated in this area, all doors on the small vessel were always kept locked, even while sleeping, as a standard safety practice. This was meant to ensure the safety of the crew's belongings and their lives in case the ship was attacked. A huge wave suddenly crashed into the front of the tugboat, almost instantly flipping it over and sending it plunging into the deep ocean. A few minutes later, the vessel had completely sunk to the seabed at a depth of about 30 meters, and 11 crew members had died. In total darkness, by some strange twist of fate, Okeen managed to feel his way into the engineer's cabin, where there was an air pocket about 1.2 meters high. There, still surrounded by pitch-black water, the water level continued to rise. Okeen groped around and found 2 mattresses on the bed. He sat on them to keep his upper body dry, helping reduce heat loss. Hungry, cold, and exhausted, he could hear something swimming in the ocean around him. The sounds grew clearer, possibly large barracudas or sharks thrashing, tearing, and fighting over something big. He feared it might be the bodies of his co-workers, so he kept a wooden plank ready to fight off any creature that might swim into his room. Above the water, a group of South African divers had been hired to investigate the site and recover the bodies. They found 10 out of the 11 crew members and didn't expect to find anything else. Inside the engineer's cabin, Okeen suddenly heard a noise that sounded like an anchor dropping again. Then he heard the sound of propellers and the divers moving around the wreck. After that came a faint hammering sound from far away. Searching the room, Okeen found a hammer. He used all his strength to pound it against the metal wall to attract attention. He hammered continuously for several minutes and then stopped. After a short while, the answering sound faded away. However, the divers eventually returned. Even though he was freezing, Okeen jumped into the water when he saw the divers' lights. His outstretched hand startled one of the divers for a moment. Even the most optimistic diver would never have imagined finding a survivor in such a situation. In fact, the entire event was recorded on camera, and that is what you are seeing. At the time he was found, 60 hours after the accident, Harrison Okeen was incredibly calm and deeply grateful to have been rescued.